Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat mga kabansa. Kayo po ay nasa Iparas kay Paras. At ito ang inyong lingkod, Ado Paglinaw, na bumabati sa inyo sa pambungad. At ngayon, si Sekretary naman.
Magandang hapon po, mga kababayan. Una sa lahat, ang aking kaibigan, paring Ado Paglinawan. At of course, muli, bumabati po ako sa ating mga mahal na mga kababayan, lalo na sa panahon na inaalala natin ang ating mga mahal sa buhay na pumanaw na, no? Of course, para sa akin, this is a temporary respite, no? Dahil buong araw, buong gabi, buong linggo, dinadanas ng ating mga kababayan ang kahirapan. Dahil hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin humupa ang mahal na mga bilihin sa kanya-kanyang palengke. Mahal na gasolina na hirap magbayad ng tama ang ating mga sumasakay. Mahal na kuryente dahil nahirapan ang ating mga kababayan na magpailaw sa kanya-kanyang bahay dahil tinitipid nila na masingil ng mahal na kuryente. So ito po lahat ang kalbaryo ng ating bansa ngayon. At kamakailan lang na dagdagan ang kalbaryo dahil sa isang napakalakas na bagyo at natamasa ng ating mga kababayan ang hirap doon sa lugar ng Bicol, Camarines Norte, Albay at mga darating probinsya, at ito pa ay lumampas pa papuntang northern Luzon ang bagyo na ito. At nakita naman natin, pinakita na namin sa isang episode na walang nagawa si Marcos. Tumingin siya doon sa Secretary of DILG, Secretary of the Local Government, at parang helpless. At sinabi, ano bang gagawin natin? Ikaw ang presidente, pero tinatanong mo yung kalilipat lamang bilang gobernador at SILG, at tinatanong mo kung anong gagawin sa ating bansa. Unang-una, bakit ka nagpresidente, paring Ado?
Clueless ka pala.
Na wala ka naman palang liderato, wala ka palang alam kung if you are fronting or you are meeting a difficult task, parang helpless ang mukha mo. At wala kayong ginawa. Pero kung magbibida sa SONA, lahat binabasa yung script, lalo na itong tinatawag nating pinagyayabang na flood control, or river control, or ano pang mga control sa pag-prevent ng baha, ng kung ano-anong tubig na masama para sa taong bayan, ay wala naman pala. Nagpapalakpakan, muntik na masugat ang mga kamay noong mga nagsisipsip sa kanyang SONA dahil nagyabang tungkol sa 5,500 flood control program. Ano masasabi mo, paring Ado?
Well, these are ghost projects, at ngayong undas ay tinatalakay natin ang mga multo sa lipunan. Kaya very timely ang mga flood control projects na yan. Na hindi biro ho ang halaga na sa ating national budget.
So, ito po ay mga ghost projects. So, bagay nga talaga dito sa ghost season or Halloween season. So, maliban dito, hinihimok nila at dinidemonize nila ang ating Pangulo at doon sa ang dating Pangulo, si President Duterte, at sinasabi nga niya ayaw niyang nag-appeal or mag-appeal or hindi siya nag-appeal doon sa imbitasyon ng House of Representatives. Dahil sa tingin niya, wala namang karapat-dapat na harapin siya roon. In fact, i-discuss natin ang nangyari sa dalawang tao na nahuli habang binubuksan ang kaldero. In the middle of the night, binubuksan ang kaldero at naipit ang kamay sa takip ng kaldero. So, yan ang pag-usapan natin. Pero sa Senado, pinagbigyan ng ating Pangulo na mag-appeal dahil nirirespeto niya ang karamihan except for a few na wala talagang utak. Wala talagang utak magtatanong. Nagpapa-self-righteous. Nagsasabi na ganito, ganyan. As if siya ay talagang itong babaeng ito ay talagang siya na ang pinakamagaling at maayos na tao sa buong Pilipinas. So, pakinggan po natin ang testimonya ng ating dating Pangulo, President Duterte, sa Senado, at bawat tanong, titingnan natin kung ano ang masasabi natin, makukomentar natin bilang mga mamamayan at bilang nagpapahayag sa taong bayan ng ating mga komentaryo. Paring Ado. So, ito po ang hearing. Ipapakita natin ang mga nangyayari doon sa Senado. Tinatanong kay President Duterte yung ng mga senador, yung mga gusto nilang tanungin tungkol sa war on drugs.
Some questions addressed to the former president. Mr. President, kanina pa ho kayo tingin na tingin sa amin, hindi kayo lagi kayo tumitingin sa kanan. Hindi ho kayo tumitingin sa kaliwa. Nagpapansinan na ba ho kayo ni Senator De Lima?
Wala maganda dyan, dito lang.
Anyway,
Mr. Chair.
To be serious,
Yes,
on a serious
Mr.
note,
Chair,
I think,
I beg
Senator
the
Jinggoy,
SP Pro Tempore to lead us in setting the tone that this is not a laughing matter.
I'm
Yes,
not,
Salamat, Mr. Chair.
I was not joking.
I was just para ma-lighten lang yung mood, Mr. Chair. Anyway, on a serious note,
Yes, okay.
Mr.
Continue.
President, how do you assess the campaign against illegal drugs during your time, Mr. President? Do you consider it as a success, Mr. President?
Mr. Senator, it is a continuing problem for the country and for the entire world. The drug problem is a very serious and pernicious, virulent ailment that the country is facing. Panahon ko and the previous presidents, yung panahon ko, hindi siguro ninyo nagustuhan, not you, yung the entire country, I am addressing the entire country. Baka hindi ninyo nagustuhan. But yun ang style ko. Sinabi ko nga, I tried to do the best that I could. Kung nagkulang ako, pasensya. Pero ang solusyon during my time was a call of duty of the President. Ako yun. Kasi ako yung presidente sa panahon ko. At hindi ako nagkulang, Mr. Senator. Nag-warning ako lahat narinig ng Pilipinas. Huminto kayo sa droga. Bitawan ninyo, drop it. Kasi magkakaproblema talaga tayo. Pag nakita tayo sa isang kanto at naghawak mo ang droga, problema na talaga yan. So, yun na, nagkakaroon tayo ng problema. May patayan. But it was not a state-sponsored killing. There was never an official order to the police and the military and to the agents of government to kill. Andyan si Senator De La Rosa. Wala akong sinabi na ganon kasi abogado ako. Ang sinabi ko, yung sinabi ko nung nagtuturo ako sa Police Academy, that in your fulfillment of duty, yung elements of self-defense would apply to you pag you are trying to arrest a person. Alam mo, ang trabaho ng pulis kasi, pag sinabi mong aarestuhin kita, hindi hinto dyan. The police must arrest and overcome the resistance para madala mo yung kriminal doon sa istasyon at mabok mo para makulong. Yan ang problema at naawa ako sa mga pulis. Hindi mo masabi, bitawan mo yung baril at pag hindi sumunod, sabihin lang ng pulis, o sige, bukas makita tayo dito, huwag ka nang magdala ng baril. Hindi yun ang tinuro ko sa kanila. Nagtuturo ako sa Police Academy. Yan, lahat yan sila dumaan sa akin. Yan, because yan ang turo ng sa College of Law. That's the law. Kung ano yung sinabi ko sa pulis, batas yan. Walang compromise dyan when you are arresting a person. If he resists, pag ayaw magpa-aresto, you have to overcome him. His resistance. Ngayon, pag lumaban, nagkaletse-letse, may baril, may magpatayan talaga. Kaya yan ang problema ng pulis, kaya naawa ako. Kaya ako rin nandito, guns, siguro, paano na rin ng God sent yung invitation ninyo. Naawa ako dito sa mga pulis na tinatawag ninyo at inaano ninyo, yung trabaho ng pulis kasi involves personal contact. Walang trabaho sa pulis, sabihin niya, halika dito, bitawan mo yan, mag-surrender ka, sumama ka sa akin. It is always a confrontation, and if the other guy is armed, there will always be kamatayan or injuries.
Ito po ang true to life. True to life happening. Yung tinanong ni Senator Estrada kay Duterte kung paano in-implement yung war on drugs. Yun po talaga ang nangyayari. At ito po ay sinabi ng ating Pangulo na kaya may mga nangyayaring patayan, it is because of the stiff and serious implementation of the operation against drug syndicates, drug pushers, and drug users. Kaya po, mayroon tayong ginagamit parati na salita na nanglaban. Bakit po sinasabi ng dating Pangulo ito? Kasi you are dealing with hardened criminals. People who will not stop if they are told to stop. Most of these criminals will fight it out.
Will fight back.
Oo.
Miski sabihan na freeze.
So, kaya ang sinasabi ng ating Pangulo, ito ay ang batas. It is the law of self-defense. It is the law of self-preservation. Kaya po, yun po ang nangyayari, mga kababayan. Sa mga criminals na napatay. Pero it does not mean na wala ring mga pulis na nasugatan, namatay. Because, pagka nagkabarilan yan, there is no control kung sino ang mabaril o kung sino ang nakaligtas. That is why the reality, ang sinasabi ng ating dating Pangulo ay maraming pulis ang natatamaan, maraming pulis ang nakapatay to prevent them from harm because they are arresting and catching hardened criminals and bring them to justice. Paring Ado, anong masasabi mo tungkol dyan sa sinasabi ng ating dating Pangulo?
It is a very situational case where if the one being arrested draws his gun and aims to fire at the policeman who is arresting him, ang instruction is, huwag kayong pauuna. Di ba?
Yes.
Pag kayo ay paglaban at you think your life is in danger, upakan nyo na. No?
Yes. And ang very important,
logical it's a very logical thing.
Ang very important statement here is that there is no state sanction. Sinasabi ng ating Pangulo,
state sponsorship.
Just do what is provided for by law. At the end of the day, sinusunod ng police, pero in their implementation, nahuli nila yung in the act of doing the criminal act, nag-surveillance sila, nahuli nila ang isang warehouse na mayroong drugs or nahuli nila ang isang smuggling of drugs, and this is worth hundreds of millions. It is thus natural, mga kaibigan, na talagang self-preservation din ang mga kriminal. Dahil ayaw nila na mahuli sila at mapurnada ang kanilang mga binibenta na droga which will make them hundreds of millions of profit.
At saka the situation is one of an extreme wherein most likely kung sino yung na-arresto nila are also using drugs. So, they are not,
in their normal. They're not in their normal self.
They're
And
not
therefore,
in their proper disposition.
they are always
Defensive sila
in the act of fighting.
Fighting back.
Kaya, ang sinasabi lang ng ating Pangulo, so long as the law is there and the law that in the bottom line is what we call self-preservation, self-defense.
And
So,
there
yun
have
po
been
ang
cases na talagang naunahan ng pulis, napatay ang pulis.
Napatay ang pulis.
Patay ang
And
pulis.
there are also cases where the confrontation is in public.
Yeah.
And there are collateral damages,
So, civilian...
which is not intentional. So, kaya nga may sinasabi na may mga namatay na mga civilian, but that is not a state-sponsored, according to the President, dahil wala siyang instruction sa mga polis na patayin nyo. In the sense na sinabi siya na nakatali or nakabulata na at papatayin. That is not what he is saying na patayin nyo. Patayin nyo in the sense that if you are being harmed, then unahan nyo na. Yun ang mandato ng mga pulis. So, yun po ang sinasabi niya dyan. And that statement is the one that is prevailing throughout the hearing of the Senate. Yung mga ibang exchanges were mere na lang yan ikangay mga patutsada na lang ng ating Pangulo. Pag-uunggoy na lang doon sa mga senador na hindi naman maayos din yung mga tanong. Okay. So, yun po, patuloy tayo dito sa pangalawang tanong ni Mr. Estrada. Ito po.
Mr. President, if I may...
Yes, sir.
Kasi napapanood ko kayo sa TV nung hindi pa ako senador during your term na meron ho kayo sinasabi, ubusin ko kayo, papatayin ko kayo. Ano po ibig sabihin? Sino po yung uubusin ninyo? Sino yung papatayin ninyo? Ito ba yung mga user, mga pusher ng illegal drugs?
Yes, sir. Lahat. Hold-upper, kidnappers.
Hindi lang sa drugs?
Hindi lang droga, sir. Lahat po. When I was mayor, kalaban ko lahat ang criminals. Huwag naman yung mga staff, wala akong pakialam dyan yung mga tseke-tseke. Yung mga kidnappers sa Mindanao po, marami yan. At yung mga lawless elements doon, when they go on a rampage, they take over the entire municipality. I-hostage na lang yung municipality, yung bangko lahat doon, hino-hold up. At yung police hindi makagalaw kasi nakapalibot sila and there are civilians. And they cannot start a war because the civilians eventually will be killed in the process. Pati sila.
Nung sinabi niyo pong uubusin ko kayo lahat, papatayin ko kayo lahat, ito ba ho yung naging resulta kaya marami hong naging patayan, Ginoong Pangulo?
Literally, yes.
So, pero wala ho kayong inuutos sa mga dating chief of police ninyo, chief of PNP na pumatay?
Warning lang na istorya man lang yan, sir.
Chismis lang ho?
Alam mo, pagka mayor ka o presidente ka, pag sinabi mo, hoy, huminto kayo dyan, masama yan, illegal yan, walang mangyari sa syudad mo. Pag sinabi mo, huminto kayo, papatayin ko kayo. Pag hindi sila huminto, of course, the police would come in. Sabihin ko sa police, pag naghawak ng baril, ito yan sila, dumaan yan sa Davao lahat. Koy, pati ito, si Danao, lahat yan sila, dumaan ng Davao. Ang order ko talaga sa kanila, pag makawag ng baril, patayin mo na para one less criminals. Eh bukas mag-hold up na naman yan, may poproblema na naman tayo. Ganon rin sa puser.
Ito si Jinggoy, sinabi na ni Duterte nung una na wala siyang inutos. The fact that sinasabi niya na ubusin mo yan or papatayin mo yan is just a mere strategy. Ika nga. I mean, maski ano pang allegations or expression of his desire to stop the killing by making those statements, these were just mere statements. Strategy ito. This is a strategy in putting fear among the criminals.
Instilling fear.
Unang-una, nagtanong na si Estrada. Sinabi na niya na wala akong order na pumatay. Paulit-ulit.
Redundancy.
It doesn't go to his brain. What he was asking was already answered by Duterte sa una pa lang.
Nasa listahan kasi.
Kaso kasi, kung sa Amerika pa yan, si Kamala Harris, binabasa doon sa teleprompter. Ito, hindi siguro niya ma-formulate sa sarili niya yung extemporaneous, kaya parang sinusulat niya yung tatanungin niya. Hindi niya na-realize na nasabi na. Nasagot na. So, ngayon, very clear. Sa tanong niya, uubusin ba daw or patayin ba? Duterte says that, sinabi ko na, wala akong order. Pero, pag nanglaban, like mga hardened criminals, kung mapatay yung pulis, bago siya makapatay sa criminal, uunahan na niya. And that's self-preservation, Mr. Jinggoy Estrada. I hope you understand already what the president, dating presidente, ang sinasabi. Ngayon, ito na naman. Hindi siya matigil, binabanggit niya yung Davao Death Squad. Sinasabi na nga ni presidente na he is not involved in killings, except that these are just mere expression of strategy to put fear among the criminals. Ito na naman. Sagutin naman natin itong kanyang pagtatanong kay dating Pangulong Duterte. Ito.
So, Ginoong Pangulo, nung mayor po kayo ng Davao, do you confirm the existence of the Davao Death Squad?
No, sir.
Wala hong Davao Death Squad. So ano po yung iniimbestigahan ni former Senator De Lima nung siya'y chairperson ng Commission on Human Rights? Ang iniimbestigahan po niya yung DDS, if I'm correct. Am I correct?
I don't know how the term was coined.
Senator De Lima, were you investigating the Davao Death Squad when you were chair of the CHR?
Yes, that was the focus.
But the former president doesn't confirm the existence of the Davao Death Squad.
That has been his position nung tinanong ko ho siya, nung nag-appear siya sa public inquiry, that there's no such thing as DDS. But there are people, there are witnesses who said that there is such a thing as Davao Death Squad. It may not be the correct term, or it may not really be or explicitly called the Davao Death Squad.
Who coined that name, that phrase, the Davao Death Squad?
I think it was media, it was certain sectors, certain groups.
But it was not the CHR which you headed before, Madam Senator.
We knew it to be as Davao Death Squad because of the various reports. But it did not originate from us, the term Davao Death Squad. What is clear to us is that there was this group of assassins, and some of them are actually part of the Davao City Police Office. And there are also the Abanteros, the assassins themselves, with respective handlers. And already, Mr. Matubato and Mr. Las Cañas...
If I may cut you, Madam Senator.
Very clear. Nung tanong ni Jinggoy, may kinalaman ba daw ang ating dating Pangulo tungkol dyan sa Davao Death Squad? Sinabi niya outright na wala siyang kinalaman. He is not aware or has anything to do with the Davao Death Squad. Nung tinanong si De Lima, she herself has admitted na itong Davao Death Squad ay gawa-gawa lang ng mga media. And for 3 hearings she conducted, nung nasa Human Rights pa siya, commission, nung nagsenador na siya, and conducted several hearings in the Senate, wala talagang finding siya. And he has not found anything that would lead lead to Duterte.
Walang conclusive.
Walang ebidensya na Duterte has something to do in perpetuating or ordering the organization of a group alleged as Davao Death Squad that are killing people in Davao City. So, wala siyang findings, wala siyang conclusion. So, ano niyan? These are all hearsay. You can always say that these are just mere mercenaries or vigilantes. Because Davao has always been under vigilantes during the time of the NPAs.
Naging no man's land yan.
Naging no man's land. Mayroon silang, ano bang tawag noon? There was a term before. Alsamasa. These were vigilantes. Dahil sa napakalakas na ng insurgency, napakalakas ng pagpapatay ng mga NPA sa mga ordinary people, the Alsamasa has started to create its own vigilante group.
That's a citizens movement.
And fought it out with the insurgents. Isa yan sa pagpalinis sa Davao City. Because Davao, prior to Duterte, has always been a very critical and a very hardened criminal haven, mga kababayan.
Nasa crosshairs so yan ng mga criminal elements.
Sa pagtatanong ni Jinggoy, although dito, siyempre si Jinggoy, talagang tinutumbok niya si De Lima kasi ito yung nagpakulong sa kanya. It was De Lima who filed charges and alleged that Jinggoy Estrada was involved in corruption, plunder. So, at the end of the day, at the end of this hearing nila, pagtatanong ni Jinggoy, De Lima was not even able to conclusively
to establish a case.
Conclusively establish a case. So, butata. And what prevails here is that the question if Duterte was involved in the DDS, very clearly, he said, I am not involved. And at to today, itong mga pinroduce ni De Lima na mga testigo na very questionable, like sinong pangalan ito? Bato-Bato. Ano yung isa? Mga pinulot lang ito. Pinulot lang ito ni De Lima at probably ni Trillanes at kung sino pa diyang mga kakampi nila ng mga dilawan. Just to project Duterte's presidency as a questionable one dahil nilampaso naman sila sa eleksyon. Yung Mar Rojas na kandidato nila na walang kalaban kay Duterte, yun ang idolo nila. So, inihimok nila si Duterte ng todo-todo.
Itong sinasabi nilang alleged hitman, wala naman palang napatay. Si Bato-Bato.
Puro hearsay. So, De Lima, at the end of the day, puro hearsay. Walang, so, walang ebidensya that would pin down Duterte. So, kaya, ginagamit nila yung ICC kasi di nila ma-pin down si Duterte. They use the ICC na puro hearsay din. Pinagalitan na recently yung Karim, iniimbestigahan ng ICC court dahil sa kanyang pag-akusa ng Israel of committing a war crime, when Israel was the one that the Israeli people were the victims of the heinous crimes committed by Hamas. So, ganun po, mga kababayan. Tapos, ito na naman, itong kakampi ni De Lima, na wala nang iba kundi himukin si Duterte, talagang hindi tumitigil sa kakatatanong itong Hontivirus. Kung naalala nyo po, itong Hontivirus, ito po yung babae na nagtago doon sa isang testigos doon sa Kian Santos. Santos ba yun? Kian de los Santos case. Na when I was still with the BACC, the Volunteer Against Crime and Corruption, together with Attorney Topacio, yung ama nung bata na tinatago ni Hontiveros, pumunta sa BACC, nagpatulong kasi hinahanap niya ang mga anak niya at natuntunan namin na tinago ni Hontiveros. So, pinuntahan namin ni Ferdy Topacio sa Senado at pinapasa-pasa ni De Lima. In the end, tinago niya doon sa kakampi niya na bishop na member din ng Akbayan, yung David. Virgilio David. At true enough, David admitted na nandoon ang mga bata.
Custody na sa kanya.
And of course, they tried to convince the father and bribe him and so on and so forth.
Parang kidnapping yun, di ba?
That is exactly...
Parang yung kay Francis Castro.
That is exactly why myself and Topacio has filed a kidnapping of minor against Hontiveros. And she uses power or her power to put it under the rug. That's why the ombudsman, until now, I haven't even received any documents, notice, or anything, whatever happened to that crime or charges of a crime that was committed by Hontivirus, aside from the wiretapping that she did to me and to former Justice Secretary Aguirre.
Pero hindi pa naman prescribed yan.
Ay, hindi pa?
Eh, malapit na matapos ang term niya. So,
So
susunod na.
yun po ang mahilig siyang mag-akusar kay Duterte, pero she herself has also committed offenses which she just used her influence and power to just put it under the rug. So the ombudsman has not done anything to investigate. At least man lang kung dinismiss, matutuwa naman sana tayo na justice is moving in this country. But for it to be kept under the rug, napaka-kabastusan ang nangyayari dyan. So, pakinggan natin itong...
alam ko po na matatalino mga taga-Philippine Military Academy. Hindi po yan ang issue. Ang kinaklarify ko po ay kanina sinabi nyo na in-encourage nyo ang PNP na i-encourage yung suspect na lumaban.
Yes.
Para mapatay, para masabing nanlaban.
Correct.
Correct.
Para
That was a very incorrect.
Correct, yes.
Very incorrect po, if I may say as a
It's
civilian,
not,
sa professional police.
It depends
tayo,
on,
Mr. Chair.
ano na natin yan, ma'am. That's your view, that.
It's not my view only, Mr. Chair. Thank you for putting it on the record.
Pagka-mayor, pagka-prosecutor. Ako, alam ko, dumaan ako, prosecutor, mayor, presidente, alam ko ang trabaho ko.
Yes,
Yan
salamat
ang
tayo,
totoo
Mr.
dyan.
Chair.
Hindi ka nagdala ng syudad eh. You never
Totoo
had
po,
a
Mr.
chance
Chair.
to solve the problem of a community.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for
Senator,
putting it on
Hindi
record,
tayo
Mr. Chair.
magkaintindihan dyan.
ang problema nitong si Hontiveros,
May narrative siya pinupulso.
alam mo naman ito, hindi naman dapat talaga manalo itong senador, kundi hinausaw ni Noynoy Aquino kasi favorite niya ito. In the survey, wala naman talaga ito sa survey, pero biglang nanalo na senador, gusto niyang ipairal yung kanyang way of thinking na pinapalabas na napaka-righteous niya, na lahat na implementation is according to her mindset. But Duterte says na mayroon kang sarili mo. Ako, naging presidente, naging mayor, naging congressman. I have my own.
Real life experiences.
I have the power as president and the duty to fight against criminality. Ikaw, puro lang investigasyon, puro lang ganyan-ganyan. Ang obligasyon at trabaho ni President Duterte when he was president is to protect every citizen of this nation. And one of the most problematic major problematic thing in the country is drugs, the perpetuation of drugs, the proliferation of drugs. And if you remember, every speech that the president makes always includes the eradication of the drug menace. So, ikaw, nandyan ka lang. Si Presidente andito. Sakop niya ang buong bansa.
Face to face with the reality.
Face to face with the reality. Tapos tutuluan mo. Mag-presidente ka muna. Which is really very far cry. Miss Hontiveros. So, yung sinasabi mong hindi maganda or masama yung sinasabi ni Presidente na encourage mo ang mga criminals. Why? That's part of the strategy, paring Ado. What makes that bad? when you already faced with the criminal. He has a gun tucked in his side, and the police is face to face. Hintayin mo pa ba na bumunot muna yung criminal? So, i-encourage mo siya para bumunot o kaya tumakbo. Kung ini-encourage mo at bumunot, alam mo na unahan mo. Di ba? That's a strategy.
1-2 strategy yun eh. Unang-una, pag hindi
kung tatanga-tanga ka, wala kang alam dyan sa mga proseso na yan,
operandi,
na mga modus operandi ng police, ng enforcement agency, huwag kang daldal ng daldal. Porque nandiyan ka, Duterte is under the spell of the Senate, magtatanong ka at nagsasabi ka na tama ka, mali si Duterte. Naging presidente ka na ba? Sabi nga ni Duterte, ni mayor, hindi ka naging mayor. Pinanalo ka lang ni Noynoy Aquino. When Noynoy was the president, towards the end of his term, in that last election that he was president, sinabit ka na manalo. I know that for a fact because in the survey, you are not even in the top 12. Kaya ngayon, ang yabang mo nang magdadaldal pati yung strategy at paraan na mapabuti ang bansa ni President Duterte, papakialaman mo pa.
For the purpose of our listeners,
yes.
1-2 strategy yun eh. Number 1, tumigil na kayo, otherwise your lives are in danger. Number 2, if you are caught and in the act and you fight back or you try to escape, you will be killed. Simply ho yung strategy. What's wrong with that? What's illegal about that?
And at the time, I remember, galit na galit ito kay Presidente. Kasi self-righteous ito eh.
Pseudo-human rights.
Kaya nga tinago niya yung mga bata doon sa Kian de los Santos. Because at the time, she and De Lima were investigating Duterte's war on drugs. They were investigating the so-called DDS at the time. Kaya niya tinago yung mga bata, I remember vividly, kasi gagamitin niya yung mga bata to testify that it was Duterte who ordered the policemen that were involved in the Kian de los Santos killing. Yun ang totoo. Kaya tinago niya yung mga bata. In spite of the parents, right to these children, she kept them under her control.
Under her frame. Kasi frame up yun eh.
Yeah, frame up. Yeah. So, yun po. At for your information, De Lima, virus, sabi ni Juan, si Marlica, virus ang tawag nito eh. Siguro, baka may katotohanan si Marlica. But sabi ni Marlica, itong si virus, talagang may plano na dadalihin nila si Duterte. Dahil they cannot accept the fact that natalo yung mahal nilang si Mar Rojas. Yun po ang totoo.
At yung pet peeve nilang si Duterte ay naging successful.
Naging successful at naging presidente. Kaya hindi nila tinigilan nung panahon na yan. I think that was in
kaya pinuputaktin nila
2017, 2018, yun yung mga panahon na yan. Prior to the 2019 election na naging naging 8 diretso. Kung talaga bang mga kababayan, talaga bang ang taong bayan ay naniniwala kay Hontiveros, kay De Lima at saka mga Dilawan, bakit na zero sila doon sa 2019 election against the candidates of Duterte?
By the way, the approval rating of Duterte then was 86 to 88%
They
of the people.
And that is because of his war on drugs.
Magiging narco state na tayo eh.
Yes. And we are becoming to be one right now. Oh, so yun po ang nangyayari diyan. So mga kababayan, ito lahat ng mga pakulo ni Hontiveros ay alam mo, dinomero yan. Hihimukin ng hihimukin. Nung hindi pa nila nadali si Duterte noon, na presidente, ngayon, they think that Duterte, hindi na presidente, ay madadali na nila. Which is really false.
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. Because after that hearing, Duterte became the the hero again
Once again.
The rock star again. Oh. Sinong pumapansin dito kay Hontiveros? You look at all the social media at pakinggan mo kung mayroon bang sumasampalantaya. Ano ba yan? Nagsusubscribe sa kanyang mga thinking. Oh. So, yun po, mga kababayan, is the real score here. That, summarize natin, Duterte has said time and time again, wala siyang order. Wala siyang kinalaman sa mga pinapatay. Pinapalo niya yung tinuturo niya sa
Police Academy.
Police Academy, which is also based
on
the law of the land. That's why, maski anong gagawin ninyo, you have to, in fact, Duterte challenged them to file a case. Because the law on evidence, the criminal law, which involves the law on evidence, you have to present witness directly pinpointing to Duterte that siya mismo ang pumatay, siya mismo ang nagpapatay, siya mismo ang nag-order. And you have to find that person. You have to prove that Duterte was the one himself, or you have to find a person na inutusan ni Duterte directly. O, tingnan mo si Garma. Ginamit yung pangalan ni Duterte, tinuturo
inorderan siya.
Inorderan daw siya, pinatawag ng 5 a.m.
Alas 5 na umaga.
Paano ipoprove ni Garma yan? Mayroon ba siyang testigo? Mayroon bang ano bang tawag niyan? CCTV na dumating siya sa bahay ni Duterte? Paano siya nakarating doon? May mga security? Mayroon ba siyang testigo na may security na nagpapasok sa kanya sa bahay ni Duterte? And at the time, Duterte, I think, was still the mayor of Davao City nung sinabi niya yan. Tapos, paano niya ipoprove? May dinala ba siyang isang pulis doon kay Duterte na member ng Iglesia ni Cristo?
At saka bakit pinpointed Iglesia ni Cristo?
Presuming that she's crazy. Can she prove now that mayroon siyang kinuha para tutuparin niya yung utos ni Duterte? Mayroon ba siyang kinuha na pulis na member ng Iglesia na dinala niya doon para ipresenta kay Duterte na ito na po yung pinatawag mong pulis na member ng Iglesia, ito po yung pangalan niya, ito na po ang utusan niyo? Napaka big hearsay, double hearsay. Because who will believe Garma, mga kababayan, that ipatawag siya ni Duterte when she was not even a head of a police office. She was not even an official of a police office. At if Duterte wants to may papautos si Duterte, nandyan yung chief of police under his control. Bakit itong pipitsugin na babae ang papatawag ko para i-stop ko yung criminality sa Davao City? Who will believe you? Oh. So, at ngayon, natuklasan na
Saka nasa
na yung mga congressman pala dyan, mahilig pala na ipapatawag yung mga testigos at didiktahan kung anong sasabihin nila. And that is now revealed by a policeman. And we will discuss that in a while, no? So, the conclusion is that Garma was subjected also to the same. Modus operandi na ipatawag, tapos takutin, tapos papirmahin na gagawa na ng script na ito yung script mo na babasahin dyan sa ating investigation. So, yun po ang nangyayari. Now, Duterte is ever popular as usual.
Huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe dito sa Iparas kay Paras at i-click ang notification bell at mag-subscribe na rin po sa YouTube channel ko at Ado Paglinawan.